A critical vulnerability drops. It is everywhere. Slack is exploding. Someone from leadership asks, are we affected? How easily can you answer that question? The new OWASP Top 10 highlights software supply chain failures, and one key defense it recommends is using an SBOM to track dependencies in your applications. I've got a plural site on supply chain failures coming soon. I'll leave a link in the comments once it's live. An SBOM is a software bill of materials, a list of all the packages, libraries, and versions that your software depends on. Once you've got your list, you can check whether any of those components have known security vulnerabilities. One way to work with an SBOM is using OWASP CycloneDX and Dependency-Track. Let's walk through how to set them up so that when that question comes from leadership, you can answer it quickly. First, OWASP Dependency-Track. So we've got a place to store our SBOM and make it actionable. We'll do this using Docker. Here's a Docker compose YAML file that sets up the API server and the front end for Dependency-Track. Next, we'll jump to the command line and start the Docker containers. I'll include all the relevant commands and YAML details below. Once the containers are up, we can access the interface and log in. The default username and password are admin, and we'll be prompted to change them, so set a new password. Then log in with the updated credentials. Next, we'll create a project for our code. Let's call it Test Application. Very creative, yes. Set it as an application and create. Inside the project, click View Details to find the unique project ID. We'll need this later on the command line, so keep a copy. Now go to Administration, Access Management, and Teams. You can use the automation team, which is better from a security perspective, but I've used the administration team here. We'll add an API key and copy it. Again, that's for the command line later. Now, let's configure vulnerability sources. We need to provide Dependency-Track with API keys for different vulnerability services so it can work effectively. Starting with the National Vulnerability Database, NVD, I've created a key on the NVD website and I'm adding it here. I'm doing the same with GitHub. I've created a personal access token and I'm letting Dependency-Track use it to gather vulnerability information. Next is Sonatype OSS, which is important if you're using .NET. I've created a key on their site and saved it here along with my email address. In the background, Dependency-Track might take a while to gather information from those services. Since I'm demonstrating with a .NET project, I'll install the .NET CycloneDX tool. The CycloneDX GitHub repository provides tools for most languages to generate SBOMs. Once installed, I run it against my project. I specify the solution location, use -o to set the output path for the SBOM, and ask for JSON formatted output. Now we've got the SBOM file. A quick look shows exactly what you'd expect, a list of all the dependencies in the application, along with other useful details. Next, we want to push the SBOM file to our project in Dependency-Track. A curl command calls the API running in Docker. We use our API key for access and the project ID so the SBOM knows what project it's associated with. The local file path points to the SBOM, which is then posted to the API. Back in the interface, hit refresh and the SBOM has been imported. And it's also listing some vulnerabilities. So it's found vulnerable components in this application. In the project, we can look at the components and see which ones are vulnerable. Dependency-Track also lets us define policies, so we can decide whether dependencies are safe to go to production or if someone should review them first. In policy management, we can create policies. Here we're calling them APSS warn and APSS fail. For APSS warn, we're saying if we match a set of conditions, then we want to show a warning, and we're saying that if the APSS score is greater than 0.05, we want that warning. For APSS fail, we want a failure if one of the vulnerabilities in a project shows a score of greater than 0.1. APSS is an exploit prediction scoring system, so gives you an idea of how likely a known vulnerability is to be exploited by hackers. If a score is low enough, then you might want to accept the risk of it being there. But if it goes above a certain score, then you'll want to take notice of it. I've used fairly low thresholds here. You might want them higher. It's a scale of 0 to 1, where 0 is okay and 1 is very bad. You can put a lot more detail into policies. If you've got some useful policy setups, then let me know in the comments. In the project, we can see we've currently got no policy violations. We'll go back to the command line and import the BOM file again. Now, back in the interface, we hit refresh and we've got a couple of violations. If we go into the project, we can see the graph with a couple of warnings. Thinking about CI/CD pipelines, we want to access this information programmatically to check if this part of the pipeline is acceptable. So we make an API request to get project data. The response is in JSON, so we'll copy that into Visual Studio Code and make it easier to read. We get to see all of the dependencies along with useful information for a pipeline. For example, details about critical, high, medium, and low risk vulnerabilities. There's also policy violation information. We've got 2 violations from our APSS policies at the warn level. They weren't severe enough to hit the fail threshold. Let me know in the comments if you have questions, thoughts, or feedback. That's it for a quick introduction to OWASP, CycloneDX, and Dependency-Track.